So sad, Harry has no power to divorce. Meghan Markle, Charles and William declined to intervene. We just found a new topic to talk about, so apparently Harry and Meghan are planning to divorce before the end of the year. Of course, there are probably many reasons why the two split up. A big reason could be because Harry just doesn't make enough money to make me happy, and I know a lot of people may disagree with me. The only scenario, however, that I can imagine is for Meghan and Harry to divorce if ordered by the monarch, as Charles and Diana were actually forced into a divorce by the late Queen. And as I understand it, the reason the Queen ordered this divorce was because of the unfortunate interview Diana had with Martin Shear, where she wrote back to him and said she didn't think Charles was actually qualified to be king. Now I don't think King Charles would have ordered Harry to divorce Meghan, because even though Meghan and Harry spat so much venom at the royal family, Meghan never came out and said Charles should never be king. Now, Harry has said a lot, but he hasn't yet publicly said that his father shouldn't take the throne, so there's really no reason for Charles to order them to divorce. One question is, who dares Harry start divorce proceedings? I don't know. I find it hard to imagine that could happen because Harry has never said anything negative about Meghan as far as we know. Indeed, he has only made statements holding Meghan on a pedestal or even using her as a battering ram with which to attack the integrity of his own family. Would Meghan start divorce proceedings? Well, yes, I can imagine that happening, but only under certain conditions. Meghan would have a divorce lawyer like Gloria Allred, and Mrs. Allred would come up with a completely foolproof divorce strategy. This would guarantee that Meghan wins. I mean, I think it would be easy actually, because Meghan and Mrs. could already compile so many horrible tapes and evidence of Harry doing drugs, that he's out of control, that he's abusive or neglectful or even apparent abusive. It probably wouldn't be hard to portray Harry as a psychopath who caused Meghan untold pain and distress because, after all, he's the only one in this marriage who has spoken out against antisocial and illegal behavior that we've never heard of a word of Meghan Fair or about Meghan Fair. Somehow, Meghan has managed to keep her skeleton safe in the closet when it comes to her past. His private life seems to be pretty clean, at least after he quit working on yachts, so I guess he already has MS to put in MOT. Which would include around $100 million of pension, food, and probably 2 invisible childcare, who then can be saved and rehabilitated by their dysfunctional parents. I think $100 million is the minimum Meghan would be happy with, but I think there's no amount of money the king wouldn't pay to get back his damaged son and also his missing grandchildren, if they are real. So I suspect the palace will have a good plan to help rehabilitate Harry, and they will accept him as their Uncle Andrew. It has to be kept out of public view for many years now. When do I think he's gonna make it move? I think as soon as her lawyer assures her that she will make a lot of money and also keep the title of Duchess. We know that the latter is justified because the king does not want to take back any title given to his son by his mother. If he were to do so, then he would have to deny an actual act of his late mother. And I don't think he wants to do something like that. Meghan will be ready to take her final step as soon as she can find another billionaire to marry. And then it will end forever with Harry. But he learned to play this game from his mother, Doria. Look how many decades this woman siphoned off Thomas's life earnings and was never held accountable for his behavior. And if all this happens, then I hope people understand why the king would be willing to pay. It's not because he's weak. Instead, it's because he would like to see Harry start rehab and finally get Meghan out of his and his family's life. King Charles would not want to interfere with the wishes of his late and respected mother. See, I think Miss Allred would be Meghan's first choice as a lawyer. She is a fierce fighter for victims and has been implicated in precedents set by court decisions. Gloria Allred would have fun playing for such a famous victim, wouldn't she? And if they divorce, it will be because Meghan wants a divorce. Harry doesn't really have a real vision. Meghan has convinced Harry that he really needs her, that she really is the reincarnation of his late mother. And I also think Meghan is the one who supplies Harry with his medicine. He will, however, lose a good client if they divorce. Harry, I think he's going to be absolutely devastated that Meghan is leaving him, and I think it's going to take a while because it can only happen once. Meghan finds herself a rich man who's willing to take it with Meghan in the tooth long enough now, though, and she doesn't have much going for her. He's a waking victim. The only man I can think of who is actually quite rich and who, to my amazement, really loves would be Tyler Perry, but he's probably ineligible because he's the wrong color for Meghan. Remember that she will never go out with a black man. In fact, she loves her men who are white and rich. After all, I don't think Charles will pay for a divorce settlement. His mother didn't pay anything for Diana's settlement, and I don't suspect Charles wants to pay for Harry either. So I suspect Meghan might give Harry an artificial and then go unseen to give it to Tyler Perry if she ends up with him. He'll go from godfather to stepfather. I hope it's smarter than that, but after seeing him and hearing what he said in this Netflix docu-series, my opinion of him changed a bit. I mean, look how much money the family paid for this wedding for Meghan's dress for her wardrobe. This racing card, when played by a shark, is worth much more. In reality, the other women who divorced were from the British Old Money Society or the aristocracy. They actually had decency and good manners. Meghan is not like these women, even if she has no manners. He has no sense of decency, and he certainly has no conscience. There are thousands of married people everywhere, and they are getting these quick divorces that you can get in Vegas. Apparently, you can get married and then divorce overnight in Vegas. Now, as far as I know, they can legally divorce in the United States, especially since half of that marriage is an American citizen. Now, the distribution of wealth might be a little harder to understand, given that this money is strictly held in trusts, which is where the direct value of the invisible children comes in. I mean, Harry probably has had an absolute meltdown when her grandmother didn't just crumble because she loved Meghan so much. I think Philip may have made the observation that you date actresses but don't marry them. Perhaps Harry should have taken a closer look at the lifestyle of his ancestor, Edward VII. He often dated women on stage, but was always married to his wife. However, I got a bit off topic. So Harry loved his grandmother. I won't deny it, but she wasn't one to try to hide it when she wasn't happy with something from the two of them. I think Meghan was more likely to resent the Queen of the Lake, especially since she started getting by all the time. Her late Majesty was and continues to be very insightful. Interestingly, Meghan really avoids and, probably because of this. Seems to me like Meghan isn't ready for a divorce just yet. Harry, it's not all ready yet, and Harry still challenges her and attends major family functions. He obviously needs more work when Meghan has him right where she wants him. Then she will strike, and I think it will happen when she least expects it. Meghan doesn't necessarily need a replacement for Harry either, but I suspect she will have one backstage. That might as well be it. Meghan. This round will choose someone who has more to offer than money. Maybe even Marcus. You see, Meghan won't need a rich husband's money anymore, because his deal will probably be enough to help her live very comfortably. Will she be able to keep the children invisible? I don't think so, but if he does, he can afford it. There is, however, another meal ticket, so he could try. The royal family would still pay tuition, so will they? When will this happen? Who knows? What do you think of their marriage? Please tell me your opinion below in the section. If you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like it and share it with someone else who would like it whenever you want. Don't forget to subscribe to our Kate Middleton in Queen News channel. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be back to see you in the next video.